Welcome back to the EchoVideo Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Tapley. Joining me today is Bart. Bart, how's it going?
Hey Hunter, glad to be back as always. Happy almost spooky season. It's going well. It's been a pretty decent week. I feel like the last few weeks have been just kind of boring on my part, but I'm moving in and I have no money, so I'm not really doing much. How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Been a bit of a tough week. Monday kind of kicked my ass. Was not doing good. Just having a lot of
School?
just a lot of stress, and man, work's been kicking my ass too. Everyone there is like every single day they're like Broadway performance of Shakespeare, and they're all going for the Tony. How dramatic everybody acts there.
Oh, fuck.
It's fucking brutal. Like, oh man, I was told 15 times by 15 different people that this needed to be done, and I was like, yeah, I got it the first time. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay,
Thanks.
I don't need to hear it another 15 times before the minute is up, guys. Relax, it's getting done.
You get it like fucking WhatsApped to you. You get a ping,
Oh,
email.
dude. They all communicate on like Skype. I refuse to sign up on Skype.
Who the fuck is still using Skype?
I have not given them my phone number because I know if I go in there, hell's breaking loose.
There's no coming back. That's the
Yeah.
actual one of the seven doors of hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, just before we get started, was I bought this movie. I've been trying to get Cannibal Freox. Do you know what that movie is?
No, but sounds delightful.
It's basically the second cannibal movie beside Cannibal Holocaust. Like, it's the second, like, most controversial one, I would say. And I've been looking everywhere. I looked on Amazon, and there was two copies. There was the less expensive yellow cased Shameless edition, and then there was the more expensive Grindhouse release of it. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go with the less expensive. And as I'm looking up what the differences are, because I just kept thinking, okay, this is a UK release. There's no way it's the original full cut. It's not. They cut a bunch of it out. They cut out all the animal violence.
Oh,
And then I
man,
was
that's
like,
the best part.
well, I mean, I get it. That's fine,
No,
but
yeah.
I'd like the option to have it on or off. Like, I think the Grindhouse releasing of Cannibal Holocaust is probably one of the greatest releases of a Blu-ray, in my opinion, because it had the option to watch the original version or the animal cruelty free version. And I love when I show it to people, I hover over that so they get a good long look at what they're about to watch. They're about to watch two versions of a movie. I hover over it purposefully every time. But I had to buy it again, so now I have the Grindhouse version and the Shameless edition. And now
Right on.
so
You
now
both
I'm gonna
viewing
watch them
pleasure.
back to back to see where the cuts are and to see which one is the better version. And I will discuss that whenever I find it.
Incredible. Man, do you remember when we watched Cannibal Holocaust for the first time? And it was a
Dude.
tight race between either Disney's The Jungle Book or
Yeah.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. Dude,
I think we made the right choice.
that's like a core memory for me.
Me too, man. Watching that movie for the first time,
Dude, that was so much fun.
deeply embedded in my brain.
I've like openly tried to recreate the scenario of us the first time watching that movie with so many different people, and it has never been recreated successfully. Every single time, dude, it's been a fucking dud. I hate it.
The stars just aligned that night.
Oh, you know what else I noticed? I was on YouTube, and I was watching, like, a trailer popped up for that movie, The Woman King. And you know how, like, they say on the trailer, like, certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes score? Like, that's like an advertising ploy. It's like certified fresh critic score, but now they're advertising the audience score. It says,
Oh, what?
it goes 100% critic score and a 99% audience score. So they've lost faith so much in critics that now they have to show both scores on Rotten Tomatoes.
Holy shit.
But I mean, hey, you know what? It's got a pretty high audience score and a pretty high critical score, so it's probably a decent movie. Probably something
Yeah.
I would personally not go out of my way to see, but I mean, I heard the cast looks great and it seems like a fine movie, so
Yeah, same for me. Not really up my alley, but hey, could be good. But that's funny. I bet you 100% that if like critic score is lower than the audience score, they'll like promote the audience and vice
Yeah,
versa.
yeah. I bet you
100%.
that's what they're. I bet you that's what they're doing now. Or
Strange.
yeah, it's kind of just a joke at this point to listen to critics at all. I think I caught on to that a couple years ago
Mm,
back in college. Like I was really bad for that in high school, like liking movies that were only critically acclaimed.
yeah, yeah,
Like
me
I
too.
was very bad for like if the movie did not have higher than 70, I would not watch it, and I fucking hate myself for doing that. But like I remember I went to the theater because I felt I needed to watch every Oscar nominated movie in high school. I
Mm.
saw fucking Brooklyn with my mom. I fucking hated that movie, but I lied to myself that I liked it because it had really good like critic scores. I was like, if I don't like it, I don't like movies, so I have to like it. I was like, this movie
Yeah.
fucking sucks. I
Hey,
was like,
you've
I
grown.
fucking
We've both grown. I mean, I used to do the exact same thing, man.
oh
All that
dude,
Oscar bait shit, I would fucking sniff it out.
dude, I did that all the fucking time. And I
Yeah.
won't I stopped doing it in college. Like I think my second year of college, even maybe even my first year. I just kind of I remember watching Ninja Turtles 2, and I liked it. And I felt like I felt like I was hiding fucking the dirtiest secret of all time that I enjoyed Ninja Turtles 2.
Get publicly humiliated, ostracized
Yeah,
for liking it.
yeah,
Honestly.
that's what I felt like, dude. All right, so let's get into this week's discussion. So as hinted at last week, we're talking about the 1981 film The Beyond, directed by Lucio Fulci, and I gotta say right off the bat, I was not the biggest fan of this. I thought it was okay. I thought it
Mhm.
was okay. What were your initial thoughts of it?
Yeah, as a showcase for practical effects in the 80s, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the story, the narrative, and the character, the acting, all that, even the cinematography is a little bit bland. It's, I don't know, the whole story itself is not really existent. And I'm pretty sure, well, not pretty sure, they wrote a lot of scenes just on the spot, just to kind of become showcases for the gore effects, which is fair enough. But if you're seeing all these characters dying, you kind of want to care about them at least a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Did you know that this is part of a trilogy of films? This is the second film in the Gates of Hell trilogy, which also include the films City of the Living Dead from 1980, then The Beyond, and then the final one is The House by the Cemetery, also in 1981.
We should do a. I did know that, but we should do a every year we'll do one film, and the next year we'll do another film. We'll do one out of the trilogy
There we go. Yeah, we can do that.
every year. But the whole release of the film itself was also quite strange because it was released in Europe in 1981,
Yeah.
and then in 1983 it was released in America, but it was like
No.
heavily censored and cut.
Yeah, so
But
just
then,
sorry, just to piggyback off that.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it was heavily cut, and this film was also introduced into the video nasties. So I don't know if you know much
mm,
about that, but
no,
basically, a video nasty is described by a term describing a group of low budget horror slash exploitation films that were distributed on VHS. Basically, so all the good low budget horror movies are on it, and the court system in Europe basically said like so the press commentators or court system in Europe basically censored these movies and were like, we got to cut this, we got to cut that, we got to cut this. So this is what one of the movies that got introduced into that list. I believe there's 72 films in total on the Video Nasties list, and surprisingly, you've probably seen a couple of them. Like I know Evil
really,
Dead, I know Evil Dead's on there, The Burning. Um, it's not like there's definitely a few that you've definitely never heard of, but there is a lot more than you've probably heard of that you don't know were introduced to that list. So
that's interesting. I should check that out. Was have you ever seen the 1983 version? Do you know of it? Like, is it heavily cut? It's already a pretty
um
short film.
I
I
don't
thought I,
know. I know that we saw the uncut version because
yeah,
Grindhouse is the one. Grindhouse releasing does it all uncut, which is really
yeah,
nice. I prefer to see the uncut, but yeah, I also would like the option to do it.
definitely. Yeah, just to go off what I was saying, but like the whole 1983 release in America was a very cut version. But then in 1998, um, Quentin Tarantino got together with his production company, Rolling Thunder Picture, and they kind of partnered up with Grindhouse Releasing to release the full uncut version in America, which is really cool, actually, all these years later. Unfortunately, 2 years prior, Lucio Fulci had passed away.
Bit of a bummer, but I think he
Yeah.
definitely, Lucio Fulci has a pretty outstanding filmography, and there are a lot on there I have not checked out, but I want to check out in the future. So pray for my wallet
Yeah, I
because
feel that.
um but yeah, basically one of my favorite just before we get into the movie itself, the soundtrack of the movie was changed in the North American release back in 1983,
Oh.
and it also went by an alternative title, which was Seven Doors of Death, as opposed to The
Mhm.
Beyond. Two other facts: I prefer the score I heard in this releasing, in the Grindhouse releasing, which I believe is the original score. Very reminiscent of a band called Goblin that worked on they worked on Suspiria and a couple other films. Suspiria is the main one that they work on. Like, everyone would know him from Suspiria, but I believe they worked on George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead as well. And they're a pretty good band, and yeah, I just really enjoy them. So I did really enjoy the
Goblin.
score in this movie.
Damn, I'll check him out. That's really cool. Yeah, I like the music a lot too in this. And there's one thing that I noticed. Whenever it showed like the blind eyes,
Yeah,
it would have like this loud percussive sound. And they do that by striking a cymbal and then submerging half of it in water. So it kind of like,
that's
because
cool.
Supertramp does the same thing. It's really cool.
Where are we going to begin with this one? So I guess it starts in 1927 in Louisiana,
Hmm.
and I'm going to be honest, I didn't hear a lot of the dialogue because I had to kind of rush to watch this last night. I was on a very tight schedule, so I kind of rushed through this scene. I was doing other stuff while I was watching it, but from what I got, there was a artist and a witch, and there was some kind of book. What was the book called? The Ebion or something?
Ebion, yeah.
And basically, he's working on a painting, and then this group of people rushes into the hotel, grabs him, and then fucking crucifies him in the basement of the hotel, I believe.
Yeah,
And
with
it's
like railroad spikes
yeah,
like
it's
slammed into his wrists.
and it was pretty honestly pretty disgusting, and everything, like, it was kind of like a normal 80s practical effect. I was like, whatever, but I think, like, it's very good, but I'm kind of numb to the gore, but the screams that this guy was letting out actually kind of scared me a little bit. Like, they were just like so unnaturally, like,
Yeah,
they
and
were,
they echoed so much too.
dude, it actually kind of freaked me out, that scene, a little bit. And then we cut forward. Sorry, go ahead. You sounded like you were going to say something.
The Ebion, I don't know how to fucking pronounce it, was written by Clark Anson Smith in 1933, and it also appears in the Cthulhu Mythos, and it's very much like the Necronomicon, which is pretty cool, I thought. So I think the painter, what's his name, Schweik?
Yep, Schweck.
Sorry,
Schweck is
Schweik,
the
yeah.
name of the painter.
Is he painting Hell or the Gateway to Hell? Is that what it is? Because the very ending shot is
Yeah,
okay.
I think it says he's just working on a hellish painting in room
Mm,
36 of the Seven Doors Hotel. Um, that's just as a house, so I would assume it's hell, yeah.
mm,
And basically, I think there's also a gate to hell in this hotel. Like, one of the seven gates of hell is in this hotel.
right.
And I think it's in room 36. I'm not sure. Anyway, so we cut forward to 1981, and someone's in one of the characters, Lisa. Lisa has inherited the hotel, and she's basically refurbishing it, trying to reopen it and stuff like that. And fucking immediately, a painter looks in,
I was also surprised. That happened immediately.
looks in the room, sees a woman with like milky eyes, falls off the banister, and basically dies.
Yeah, it's like a 6 foot drop or something, and he just cracks his head open, dead immediately. And
Yeah.
we're like 5, 10 minutes into the movie, so we're starting off strong. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, and then I believe we work our way in. The other note I have here is when they're in the hotel, they're in the room. I think that the guy has looked in. I think are they in room 36 yet?
I think they were looking into like they were painting the walls of room 36 on the outside, so they were looking in and saw the
Okay,
girl.
yeah. And then there's like a bell. I thought it was a phone, and that is the loudest fucking thing ever, dude. It's
Oh
like
my god.
it was so loud. It honestly startled me a bit. I was like, God damn, like come
Yeah, I
on,
know.
guys.
And it went on for so long. There's another scene. It's just horrendous sound, but this is a little bit further in the movie. I won't spoil it, but when they're in a hospital and he has like a gurney and he's slowly pushing it, and the wheels are just squeaking at
Yeah.
this unbearable frequency for like a good 30 seconds. I had to actually like take my headphones off. I was absolutely ruined by that moment.
So then yeah, that kind of caught me off. That the fucking loud ass sound there caught me off. And then anyways, they worked their way down to the basement, and the plumber Joe, he fucking shows up to investigate some kind of, I think it's a lack of running water, and then there's like the most flooded basement. Like that basement's fucked.
Yeah,
Like
I love how she's like, "Oh, how long it'll take?" And he's like looking at it, this complete fucking disaster. He's like, "It'll
yeah,
take as long as it takes."
that fuck dude. And then the other thing that was kind of funny, he goes to like the foundation wall where the water is, and he starts hammering into it, and that fucking foundation is just effortlessly falling apart. Like, he's like,
Yeah, it's like
get
wet
the
cardboard.
get the fuck out of that house, man. It's not safe.
The whole fucking thing's gonna drop down on you. Oh, I think before then we're also introduced to the doctor who goes to help the painter.
Yep,
But
yep.
because they don't have running water, I think that's why they call the plumber.
Yeah, so yep,
Yeah,
you're right. I skipped over that.
John the doctor, the
He'll,
immediate love interest.
yep, he'll definitely come back later.
Yeah.
So then, oh yeah, so when he's chipping away, dude, this jump scare, we get a jump scare, and it honestly scared me. When the
Ooh, it
fucking,
got me good.
when the
It got me good.
hand reaches through the
The
wall,
hands.
dude, I honestly didn't expect it, and it fucking made me jump. I was like, Jesus, fuck, it fucking freaked me out. And
Yeah,
then,
it got me too.
he gets his like eyeball, like his face ripped off, doesn't he, at this scene?
Yeah, and it's not even like his eyeball is pushed into his skull. It's like
Yeah.
he goes, finger goes into
Yeah,
like the eye
dude.
socket and pushes it out.
And it's like
It's
moving,
disgusting.
like the eyeballs like looking around and stuff. It
Yeah,
was so creepy.
it's a really good effect.
Yeah, dude, it was
This
awesome.
whole movie is full of great effects, and I was gonna say too in the basement because it's basically just the whole set piece of the movie. Like everything that it's important happens in the basement. It's a
Yeah.
really good atmosphere.
Oh
I think
yeah.
they had a really good set down there,
Yeah.
especially with, like the really dark shadows, the heavy shadows.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I kind of the thing I do like about one of the benefits I'll give to this movie is I do like the kind of the weird how it feels. Basically, this is a full Italian film. It's basically Italian cinematographer, Italian director. I think most of the actors are Italian, but they're shooting in New Orleans. So there's this
Yeah.
United States, like American, like suburbs and homes and cars and locations, but then you have this kind of Italian feel to the cinematography and stuff. So it kind of adds to this weird dreamlike stace
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that you're watching. So I really did enjoy that. I thought that it added to kind of the weird mystery of the movie almost. So then after that, I believe the maid finds the bodies of wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Somebody goes down after Joe.
Yeah, Martha, right? Is it Martha?
Not Martha. I thought somebody got blinded by something in the bottom of there. Or maybe I'm thinking incorrectly. Either way, Martha goes down, the maid goes down to the basement, and then she takes them to the local hospital, like to the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
And then anyway, this is kind of an important piece, but then we get Lisa driving the car on this fucking long ass bridge. Like it's fucking like you're on this bridge, you're not turning around. You're going to the
Like a
other
good
side of this
kilometer.
bridge, dude. It's a
one way or another.
dude,
Yeah.
it was the longest bridge I ever fucking seen. And there's a
Yeah.
woman and her dog, a blind woman and her dog out in the middle of it. Like, Jesus.
Can you imagine being stuck there? How the fuck is she gonna find her way home? Also, when she's driving, she can see the dog and the girl like 500 meters ahead because it's just like flat land.
Oh,
She
yeah.
stops a fucking ass hair
Oh,
away
yeah.
from hitting them,
Right in
and
front of
she's
her.
blind. She can't even react. Doesn't even like swerve out of the way.
I think the brakes even squeal and shit, too, when
Yeah.
she stops. So it's like,
Like that was almost a fucking manslaughter. And then yeah, I think the maid goes down, finds Joe the plumber,
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's kind of like a weird, not a cut or anything, but like a narrative jump because we have then we're
Yeah.
introduced to the morgue where
Yeah.
Dr. John is working with Harris.
Yeah.
And oh, while Martha was down in the basement, she also found a body that's been there for like 6, 7 years.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they bring both Joe
Which
and
is which
the
is
other body.
which is Schweck.
Yeah,
Schweck.
yeah.
Shy.
They think
Yeah.
it's 6, 7 years, but it's been like a good crisp 60 years.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But they bring him into the morgue, and then Dr. Harris immediately puts like this brainwave detector on him.
Yeah.
Like this man is literally decomposing on the spot.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, maybe we'll pick something up.
Yeah, there's definitely no way you're picking anything up from that fucking thing.
This other weird scene because we're introduced like the mom and the daughter of Joe. Because Dr.
Yeah,
Harris leaves and
yeah.
then Dr. John leaves, and it's like, all right, come on in. First of all, weird that they can just walk into a morgue of bodies like that.
Yeah, dude, like nobody like I think the mom just kind of walked in. Like,
Literally, she's like, all right, wait over here, Joe. I'm gonna go say hi to your dad, who's just kind of chilling on this metal bench.
yeah. And he's all fucking got his heart cut out or big hole in his chest that they're stitching up.
Yeah.
She walks in, fucking she walks in, she looks around, and I think the body starts the brainwave act like the brainwave detector starts detecting brainwaves. And then we cut outside and we see the little girl. And then there's like a scream inside, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like this ungodly screams.
Yeah, and then she goes, and then she walks in, no fucking supervision
She's
or
like
anything.
14. She's
Yeah.
like 14, 15.
She kind of looked like the what was the character's name from Stranger Things, the
I was
redhead.
thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, Sadie Sink.
Sadie,
yeah.
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 She looked
Yeah.
exactly like her. I was like, oh, that's kind of maybe that was why they made her pick her. Maybe that's why
I
they
was actually
picked her
gonna
or
make
something.
that joke. That's funny.
But anyways, so she goes in and then she sees her mom on the floor, and at first it's like fucking white cum falling out of a jar all over her
Yeah.
face, but then it cuts and it's a clear liquid.
I was like,
And
what the fuck?
it's
I
just
was also so confused how she got there.
yeah, I have no idea. I'd
Did she
imagine
just fall over and acid fell on her?
yeah, I would imagine she was like so scared of something that it made her
Yeah.
fall. Holy fuck. Did you hear
Holy shit.
that?
Home invasion, yeah.
Fuck. People dropping shit
You're
above
being
me.
swatted. Yeah, but yeah, so then the acid's just like slowly pouring on her forehead. And I was also surprised, like people's reactions to dead people or horrendous injuries are pretty mundane. They're like, oh no,
Dude,
my
and
mom is melting in
yeah,
acid
the
alive.
daughter
And she's
just
like,
stands there
"Oh."
for like 5 minutes staring at her fucking melting to death, and it's like,
Yeah.
you gonna do something here?
You're gonna say, maybe help her out? Take
This
fucking lift the
the
glass bottle up?
the melting
Anything.
the melting may have been the weakest effect in the film. I feel like this acid melting.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah, I
this
think
was
so
out of
too.
all the deaths. I feel like this was like one of the weakest.
Yeah, and then you see like the foam spreading over
Yeah.
the ground. And I was surprised she didn't go for the elevator. She runs to every other single door in the
Yeah.
place, but doesn't
Yeah.
go to the elevator.
Doesn't go back the way she comes. Fucking runs to every single door, opens up the door, and I think there's like dead bodies in there, and they start like moving towards her, and then you hear the reverb of the cymbal, and then she's blind. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think so too, because then at the next scene is like the funeral, because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
both
Oh
of her
yeah.
parents
Yeah.
have passed away. Please, help this girl out. And it was so funny. After the funeral, everybody abandons her. Like she's completely by herself. Not even the reverend stayed to like,
Oh, and
give her a
no,
fucking coffee or anything.
dude, she starts screaming, and I actually thought this was a good transition because doesn't she scream, and then it cuts to the trumpet in the jazz club?
Oh, that's totally it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I made a note because that was the greatest transition since
Yeah.
fucking Jurassic Park 2.
I
With
thought that
fucking
was-
Ian Malking in the bus.
I thought that was a pretty good. I thought that was a
No,
pretty
fair.
good transition.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Because my note says, shouldn't she leave instead of watching her mom dissolve?
Fair enough. That's some trauma, man. At least he's blind now.
Yeah, and then the guy gets the doctor gets the phone call at the bar, and then it cuts to the funeral.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure we kind of just transitioned back to the lead character. Oh shoot, what's her name again?
Lisa.
Lisa, sorry. Yeah, Lisa. And I think she's talking with one of the contractors trying to figure out like the best way to improve the house. And then the contractor goes to like the town hall to find some old documents, old floor
Oh,
plans
yep.
of the basement, so we can figure out like, how are we gonna set this place up?
This
And then
is
we get a really cool death
this
scene,
is
I
when he
think.
fucking falls off the ladder, right? And then
Yeah, and he cracks his skull
the
open second
fucking
time in 30 minutes.
and then the spiders eat him. Or is that a
Yeah.
different dude? The
No,
fucking
that's the fucking
oh,
tarantulas. You slowly see them
this
coming, and they're like real tarantulas.
the
But
spiders.
then,
You see some fake ones in the back. Some
yeah, you
big
see them.
giant, like twice the size of the normal ones, and they're
The
not even
organ ones.
using all their legs to walk. They're like
Yeah, they're
shuffling.
usually like three of them. Yeah.
But oh, dude, the spider scene actually fucking made my skin crawl.
Yeah, it freaked me out too because you get these like extreme close-ups of the guy's face. It's like a prosthetic now, and they have like these like the claws of and the jaws of the tarantulas like are ripping into his tongue, his eyes, his
Yeah, they
ears, and
fucking
it's like,
bite his tongue
oh
and
man,
eye out, dude.
yeah,
And
they like oh, it's
even
so
the
gross, it's
fake
so
one,
good.
even the fake one looked disgusting, and I hated it. Like
Yeah,
I was like, I know if I showed this to my girlfriend, she would not have fucking liked it. Cause I've shown her like I show her pictures of she fucking hates spiders, and I've shown her like pictures of spiders, and she just cannot look at them. And I was like,
really.
I'm really, really glad we didn't watch this one together, because she would have been very upset with that scene. Like I
That
was
would have been a
even disturbed by it.
that would have been a rocky rest of the night.
And I think, dude, I think they used clips from that spider scene in Spider-Man in 2002 Spider-Man. I think
Yeah,
they used a
I
couple
was
clips
gonna.
from that scene in like a montage when Peter gets bitten.
Yeah, and he has like those weird fever dreams
Yeah.
because the editor who worked for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was also the co-founder of Grindhouse Releases,
Oh, okay.
so he was able to clip that in.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then I'm not sure if this might have just been. So you know how I think Harris later on in the actually we should wait, but there's another callback to the whole Spider-Man thing.
Oh, okay.
So we'll wait till it becomes
You
relevant.
know what I wonder, in just a little stupid fun fact, in Multiverse of Madness, when Doc, have you seen it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
We won't get into what our opinions on that movie is, but when he jumps through all the multiverses, there's a second on one of the cabs you see Grindhouse logo on one of the tops of the taxi cabs. So I'm wondering if he is the same editor, if he
Oh,
maybe edited Multiverse of Madness, or
that'd
if
be really cool.
just Sam Raimi is a big fan of Grindhouse movies. Either way, I
Huh.
noticed that in Doctor Strange, and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. So-
You know what? Since we're on Sam Raimi, I'm just gonna go for it. You know how Dr. Harris dies because like the zombies push in through the hospital walls on the windows and glass shards like impale his
Oh
face. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
wondering if that was a nod to like Doc Ock's wife, because it goes in the same way, right in the
yeah.
forehead. I was
Very
wondering.
well could be. Very well
Yeah.
could be. So then after the spider scene, probably the scene that was the most uncomfortable to watch.
So after the tarantula scene, we go back to Lisa and she's still in the hotel, trying to get stuff together, and she goes into room 36 because now she's paranoid about all the deaths that have been occurring, and she wants to know what's inside of these rooms, but some of them are locked. So she gets the key, opens it up, and that's where she sees Svek crucified against the wall, and we see the book, the Abion, on the counter there too, or on like a little, I don't know, bedside table or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah,
And then she freaks out, runs outside, and is then caught by Dr. John in the doorway.
yep.
And yeah,
And then Dr. John goes back in, and then everything's gone. And then I think this is where we find out that the Lisa or Emily, the blind girl, doesn't actually live in town, and there's no one in town, even though she's insisting that there's a blind person that's helping her.
right, yeah. Oh yeah, because Lisa tells Dr. John about like that the blind girl has been telling her all these premonitions and such.
Yeah,
And then he goes to investigate that old abandoned house where she lives,
yep.
allegedly.
And then he goes to the house. Oh yeah, so when he goes to the house, and I remember he grabs a pair of garden shears to pry his way into the door,
Hmm.
and fucking door's rickety as fuck. Like I feel like he didn't need the garden
No, a
shears
good kick would have
yeah,
brought that bitch right
like
down.
it was fucking like barely a door, like
Yeah, it was hanging on by a fucking thread. Oh
crazy.
man. And then yeah, he breaks into the house essentially. Which is just wonderful. And then he finds the Ebion there
Yeah,
and suspects that Lisa is the one who planted that for him there for him to find,
yeah.
essentially.
And then I think back at the hotel, there's like a full bathtub. I think the maid.
Oh, yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
see,
I
it's
think
so hard
that's
to hold on to this movie because the narrative
it's
itself is so
yeah, dude,
disjointed that it's essentially just like setups for
for horror scenes
deaths.
basically.
Yeah,
I just remember, dude, this is kind of the one kill I remember, and there's one reason. She goes to room 36, she drains this nasty ass bathtub,
goes in with her bare hands,
and there's
rips
like
out whatever's been
a
sitting there.
fucking huge clump of hair. And I just remember there, I think Joe's zombified corpse is in the bottom of the tub, I believe. And he starts coming up and he's like, and I was like, I think those are Minecraft zombie sounds. Dude, Joe sounded so much like a fucking Minecraft zombie. I was
That's
like,
incredible. I didn't think of that.
dude, if you listen to Minecraft zombie sound and you listen to Joe, like, it's almost identical. It made me
Shot for
fucking
shot.
laugh, dude. I was fucking laughing so hard.
Oh man, that's actually really funny. I like the death scene then we get there too with Martha, where the fucking zombie just kind of slowly approaches her and then sticks out his hand, and Martha, instead of running or anything,
Yeah,
just slowly backs up into the wall
yeah,
where Swipe had been crucified 60 years ago, so the nails are still there, but the body's gone. And then the zombie just kind of
oh
pushes
yeah,
her slowly into the nail, and it crushes into the back of her head and pops out her
yeah. And her
eyeball.
eyeball comes out, dude. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, jeez, man, they really got an eyeball thing here, and the eyeball effects were really good because they do
Yeah,
still move, like you said. I wonder if they use the same eye effect.
yeah, I would imagine so. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I think the scene after this is the blind woman in her house and the
This is a
ghost,
sad scene.
and she knows there's like something in her house, like some kind of force is in her house, but she can't see it, and the dog's barking away, and then she's like in the corner, like pleading for her life basically, and then she goes
Mhm.
to her dog. The dog's name is Dickie, kind of a weird name. Thought it was kind of funny, and she's yelling like "Attack, Dickie, attack!"
Yeah, she's just screaming.
And then the dog starts attacking something, and then it comes back to her, and you hear like it like whining, and then it just bites her in the neck and fucking
Yeah.
rips her throat out. I was like, oh damn, Dickie went crazy. I was like,
Dickie
god
turned
damn.
on her so fast. He's like ripping at her ear and like ripping the ear from the side of her
Oh
head.
dude, it was crazy.
Oh, jeez.
He went
Oh, so gross, man.
fucking
Fucking
ripped her ear,
Cujo.
dude, ripped
What
her
was the
fucking
reason?
ear off and shit. It was fucking insane.
Yeah, I wonder what, like, he wasn't blind or anything. I wonder if they just didn't have dog contacts or if that was supposed to be the implication.
Yeah,
But
I don't think
weird.
no, I don't think he was blind. I think he just went
Oh,
crazy
okay.
and killed her.
Fair enough.
And
I mean,
then
she was screaming a lot. I would have probably done the same.
oh yeah, for sure. And then I think basically there's a ton of zombies from
Yeah,
what I
like
remember. Like
hell just breaks loose at
I
this
think
point,
that's
and
like one of
everybody.
go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Oh,
I think so basically I think that's what they said the painting would do is that when it's revealed the corpses will reanimate or something like that.
hmm
And I remember somehow they make it to the hospital. I can't
yeah.
fully remember, but somehow they make it to the hospital because I'm not sure. Do you know why they're at the hospital?
I think they're all just going to see Dr. John, or
Yeah, they're looking for
yeah,
Dr. Harris.
because oh yeah, Dr. Harris and Dr. John, yeah, because they're still in the morgue, and that's when all the bodies are reanimating. But it's funny
Dude.
because initially there weren't supposed to be that many zombies,
Oh
but
yeah.
because of Lucio's earlier film, Zombie Duo, which is I don't know one of his more popular films, there were a lot
Yeah.
of zombies in that, and the production team wanted to get extra money out of it, so they wanted to
Oh,
kind of
okay.
recreate that big like zombie moment at the end because there were
Okay.
only supposed to be like a few corpses here and
Yeah.
there.
The one thing I noticed was when the zombies break through the window behind, I think, Lisa, that scared the fuck out of me. My pants were shit after that. Dude, that was the biggest scare in the movie, in my opinion. Like, it came out of nowhere, and the glass, there was no indication of anything behind the glass, and it just
Yeah,
shattered. And I was like, oh, who shit my pants? I was like, holy fuck. And
ridiculous.
then,
Yeah, that I think that's when Dr. Harris gets impaled through the forehead
no,
above that
no,
glass.
not
No,
yet. It's the
not
next
yet. Oh,
scene. He shoots the glass, and the window flings shards into the other guy's face. And I was like,
that's it.
Oh, it's kind of a goofy way to die, honestly. And then I remember a lot of the zombies were really useless. They just kind of stood as still as possible.
Oh
Like,
my
I wouldn't
god.
even classify it as walking, some of them. Like,
No, they
dude, they
might
were
as well have been
just,
standing still.
yeah. And then he's shooting them, and it looks like paintballs are hitting them, and they're
Yeah,
dying, right? And then all of a sudden, he shoots the ginger girl, and her fucking
yeah,
jaw
man.
explodes. I was
Holy
like,
shit,
what
man.
was the difference between her and the other zombies?
Oh,
Like,
but it's so funny how it happens because like I was gonna start writing in my notes because for 10 minutes it's basically a shooting gallery of Dr. John having infinite ammo. Ooh, funny thing, he does reload once,
yeah.
and the actor, what's his name, David Warbeck, tried to have a little gag, and he put the bullets into the revolver, like into the barrel instead of in the cylinder, but it was never caught. So you can see him reloading by putting the fucking bullets in the barrel of the revolver,
I did not
which is
notice
really
that.
funny.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, it just gets to this most boring shootout because all he's doing is body
And
shots.
it's just
But
paintballs hitting them. Like
yeah, and
it's
every single time he gets a headshot, they just drop, and it's
yeah,
like I don't know why he doesn't just do headshots the whole time. Because I was writing in my notes like, oh, it's kind of getting boring. But then they get inside of the morgue where Jill's parents are,
yeah,
and she's sitting there like blind and like, okay, if we're gonna escort this little girl, it's gonna be fine. And then she kind of just she's possessed. We know that, but
yeah, yeah,
they don't really. And she reaches for Lisa a bit, like to kind of gouge at her eyes.
yeah.
But in a fucking split second, Dr. John does like a 360 no scope without even assessing the situation, blasts her right in the head. She's not undead or anything, she's just blind. Just her whole fucking head explodes out. Like you said, the jaw pops out.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like, oh my
insane.
god. I
It
was
was
like, what the
insane.
fuck?
And then after that, I think they go down to the basement of the hospital, but they end up in the hotel.
Yeah, there's like this weird.
Like,
Yeah, because they touch on it, and I was thinking maybe that the hospital is also one of
yeah,
the
one of the
gates.
gates,
Maybe
but
they can just tie together. But I wasn't sure about that because they touch on it and never come back to it.
yeah, it's a bit of a weird ending, but basically they end up in the same landscape of the painting, which we're led to believe is hell, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And basically John is like doesn't even believe like how he escapes down a staircase and still ends up in the hotel basement, but he's just basically like, well, I'm here now, I got to accept it.
Yeah,
And then
it's
it
just like, man, what
it
the?
it does just kind of end on a bit of a bummer, bit
Yeah,
of a low note, but
because well, I actually I kind of liked the ending.
yeah,
At least I really liked
I thought like the
the
landscape.
final shot was
Yeah, I thought
beautiful,
it was good. I
absolutely
just I
stunning.
just
Yeah.
think in the story,
Oh
the
yeah, no, as a
ending was a bit
story,
of a
it was not really anything. Yeah, because
yeah,
they just tumble in, they turn around, they see that the exit is gone, and then they go blind, basically.
yeah, yeah. I liked
Yeah.
there was one shot that we didn't really touch on, but it's of the house, and I think they say that like the spirits, like all the people that worked on the house are all connected to it. So like they were
Mm.
all zombies from the beginning or reanimated, and then you see that great shot of all the rooms in the house lit up, and you see all the silhouettes of the
Oh
people in it.
yeah.
I thought that was a really really nice shot. The one at the end, yeah, I agree with you. It was really cool to look at.
Yeah, I forgot about that shot because earlier they say too that Lisa's like helpers, basically Arthur and Martha, came with the hotel. So I guess that
Yeah,
kind of ties that up,
yeah,
which is nice. Oh, do you know something really funny? That final shot, the people that are lying down, right?
yeah.
They're homeless people, and they were paid with alcohol and booze
Oh my
just to
god.
lie down there because they couldn't afford extras.
You
Is that incredible?
couldn't do that today, I tell you that much.
Oh my God, that's
There
an
would
Italian
there would
word
be fucking
only.
hell to pay if you did that. Um so that's basically the Beyond. I mean, a little bit of a confusing rundown only because this is a very confusing movie. Not my favorite, I won't lie. I think it was just okay. I think it had some really good ups and downs, but I found myself between the scenes, like between the good scenes,
Kind
I
of
was
waiting.
losing focus a bit, and I was like, I was kind of losing it, and then there would be a good scene, and then my attention would be back, and then I'd start to lose my focus again. So
Yeah, I typically wouldn't recommend this, but if you just want to see some really good practical effects for like 15 minutes, just watch a little compilation or something.
yeah,
Uh, it's kind of disrespectful to say, but
I think yeah, really good effects, some really good jump scares that actually scared
hmm
me, And one scene that actually genuinely made me cringe, this fucking spider scene. But yeah, other than that, I mean, don't fucking take our opinions. Always watch the movies and form your own. But yeah, Bart, you wanted to?
Sorry, yeah, I have two more wild trivia facts that I
No, go
completely
for it.
forgot about. So
Yeah,
you
go
know how
for it.
on Prime they'll pop up like some trivia facts, like X-ray after you've watched the movie,
Yeah,
or you can turn that on, whatnot.
yeah,
So it turns out that the band Europe, who did the final countdown,
yeah.
did a song inspired by this movie called "The Seven Gates," and it's one of their most popular songs.
Oh,
Isn't that
that's
insane?
awesome. I'll have to listen to that song.
Yeah, that's sick. And if you're interested for more, there is a four-series comic book adaptation and continuation of
Oh,
the
okay.
Seven Gates story, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty
At least
cool.
the artwork looks really cool.
Yeah, no. We'll definitely have to check out the other movies in the trilogy.
See how
Um,
they
yeah, we'll
stack
see
up.
how they hold up. So that's going to conclude this episode of the podcast. Again, guys, don't take us at our word. Always watch the movies, form your own opinion. Again,
Exactly.
I mean, our honest thoughts may differ, but we always recommend the movies we talk about.
Hmm.
So next week, we're talking about The Black Phone from 2022.
Yes.
Do you know who the director is? I'm not quite
I
sure.
don't actually. I don't know much about it at all. I just know Ethan Hawke is in it. I haven't even seen the trailer. I've
I
just heard very good
I'm
things
just gonna
about it.
look the director up right
Yeah.
now. It's the guy that did Sinister and Doctor Strange.
Ooh, I like Sinister a lot.
Sinister's good. I just find like people are either way too negative on Sinister or people are way too positive on Sinister.
That is totally true. I don't think I've ever found somebody who's like, yeah, it's all right.
Yes. Okay. Scott Derkinson.
Okay.
Directed by Scott Derkinson, based on a short story by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son,
Mm.
of the same name, The Black Phone. I have not read that. I wanted to, but I don't know. I got a lot of other stuff to read, so
Yeah, totally.
I
I
did
might
not
give that a read.
decide.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll probably read it afterwards. And then after Black Phone, we're going to talk about The Munsters, Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Yeah.
And I have high hopes for that movie. I have a lot of high hopes for that. I've heard a lot of shit being talked about it,
Oh,
and we're here to hopefully not find it shit, but
hopefully.
it's
Yeah.
hard to
We're,
tell.
we're the audience for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, look forward to that. Other than that, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week.